And then after that, we've also got aqiqah, inshallah, food of aqiqah that we'll be eating, inshallah, soon. So, closer we come, the better it is, inshallah. Before we start, inshallah, it is important that we listen to the verses of the Quran. Because Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَهَذَا كِتَابٌ أَنزَلْنَاهُ مُبَارَكٌ. The book, this is a book that we have revealed, is full of barakah. To attain the barakah, the rahmah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it is better to start, inshallah, with the Quran. So I call upon Sheikh Abdul Ghani, who will do some recitation of the Quran, inshallah.
It's okay, Sheikh.
Come here. Bismillah.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. وقضى ربك ألا تعبدوا إلا إياه وبالوالدين إحسانا إما يبلغن عندك الكبر أحدهما أو كلاهما فلا تقل لهما أف ولا تنهرهما وقل لهما قولا كريما واخفض لهما جناح الذل من الرحمة وقل رب ارحمهما كما ربياني صغيرا ربكم أعلم بما في نفوسكم إن تكونوا صالحين فإنه كان للأوابين غفورا صدق الله العظيم.
Inshallah, without any further ado, without delaying the program, I think it's important that we start, inshallah, with praising Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala should be praised whenever a program like this happens, because that is what we call khutbah, and it is a great hajj in front of us, and it is an important subject that we have in front of us. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. والعاقبة للمتقين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين وبعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. يقول الله عز وجل فأما اليتيم فلا تقهر وقال جل وعلا أرأيت الذي يكذب بالدين فذلك الذي يدع اليتيم. وأنه صلى الله عليه وسلم أنه قال أنا وكافل اليتيم كهاتين يوم القيامة. فأشار رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم بالسبابة والوسطى وفرج بينهما. It is important to understand that we have a very important topic. It is important because we have a problem. We have big challenges, and I will mention those challenges before you in a while. But before we start, the verses that I've read, there are many verses regarding yatim in the Quran, but I just wanted to take these small verses because I want to shorten it, inshallah. Otherwise, this is a very long topic. I've written about 53 pages on this topic, just as a guidance on adoption and fostering in the UK. There's another paper as well that has been written, which is about, I was told to try to make it more shorter. It came to about 30 odd pages. So it is an important topic because there are so many challenges regarding adoption and fostering. But before I go further, I would like to first read the poetry of Abdurrahman al-Amshawi. He says, حسب اليتيم سعادة أن الذي نشر الهدى عاش يتيما. He says that it's fortunate enough for a yatim, it's enough to be fortunate for a yatim that one who spread the hidayah, Who? Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam lived a life of yatim. This is Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So what it means us to understand that there are responsibilities regarding yatim. It means that we have to do something about it. This is the reason why we find several verses in the Quran, in the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, gravitating around the importance of looking after, taking care of yatim. Yes? كَلَّا بَلْ لَا تُكْرِمُونَ الْيَتِيمِ. Allah says that no, you do not even honor a yatim. You're not hospitable to yatim. Because Allah is trying to make us understand that it is something very important. Now, in terms of adoption and fostering, let me give you an example in the UK. There's a place called Barnet. There are about 44 Muslim children. 44, this is a brainstorm. 44 Muslim children needing either adoption or foster care. And how many Muslim carers are there in that area called Barnet? Only 4. How many Muslim carers? 4. So, what will happen to the rest? Say out of 44, 4 are taken. Other 40, where will they end up with? Christian families, isn't it? Jewish families, Hindu families. True or false? Yes? Is this not a problem? It is. Before the law would try, the UK law would emphasize that the children who are Muslim, they should be looked after a Muslim adopter or foster carer. Now, it has changed. The law says that if you are a Muslim child, you could be looked after a Christian or a Jewish or a Hindu or whatever, fostering or adopting parents. There is a big change. So why was this change? Can anyone tell me what was the reason why the law had to change to allow these children to be looked after non-Muslim foster carers or adopters? What was the reason behind it? Huh? That's why it is. Thus, I think everyone agrees. Muslim brothers, sisters, they are not ready to take this responsibility. Yes? They are living in a comfort zone, truly. We do not know the problem. There are problems there. Now, these children, they will end up in a non-Muslim environment. Yes? Now, what will happen? There are 3 things that can happen. One is the change, the loss of cultural identity. Cultural identity. Say you were Arab, you lose that. You become more of a British or whatever. Yes? Cultural identity loss. If you're Pakistani, you lose that. You become more of a British or whatever. Yes? Is this a big loss or not? Cultural identity. It's a big loss to an extent, isn't it? Yes? Now, the child was bilingual. Yes? His first language or mother tongue was, say, Arabic or Punjabi or anything like this. Now, he was 5 years of age, he was taken into care. Now, after a while, 2-3 years, the Punjabi he used to speak, he will forget, he will speak in English. True? So, his language identity is lost. Is this a big loss? To an extent, because at home, in many of us, we speak in English, isn't it, with our parents and so on. But the biggest loss is the faith identity crisis. What is it? The faith identity crisis. Faith, loss of faith. Loss of Islamic faith. Loss of being a Muslim. He loses being a Muslim. He stays there for few years. The child says that I'm no longer Muslim. Is this happening? Is this happening? It is happening. Children are saying now they've lived with these adopters, with these fosterers, and they say that we are not Muslim, no longer Muslim. And now you tell me, maybe adopting a child might be mustahab al-kifaya, mustahab for the community to do. Now, doesn't it become wajib on the community? Al-kifaya, wajib. This is happening. There are many cases. A girl, she became completely depressed in Ramadan. Why? Because maybe the parents were put in jail. The parents were put in jail, so she was being looked after. Foster caring is just a short arrangement, a temporary arrangement. Could be a long-term or whatever. Adoption is a long-term arrangement, but a foster care could be short-term, medium-term, or even long-term arrangement. Now that child was being looked after because maybe the parents were put in jail, right? The child in Ramadan became depressed. Now, non-Muslim parents, do they know why this child has become depressed? They're not understanding. Why? Because they are having their supper at 7 o'clock, isn't it? They eat their meal at 7. This child is fasting, he has to open the fast at 9:30 in summer. Yes? They are sleeping, they have breakfast in the morning, 7, 8 o'clock. And this child has to do his suhoor maybe at 1:30, 1:30. Yes? He's depressed. They're not understanding. But the good thing about these non-Muslim parents, they went to the imam. Yes? And the child opened up. So they had to make an arrangement for the child to be able to do his iftar and suhoor. Yes? Then the child became happy. These are great challenges that we have in front of us. Now on the other side, Allah tells us that we should look after these children, these vulnerable children. True or false? On the other side, we are neglecting and these children are ending up somewhere else. We'll be asked on the Day of Judgment, isn't it? Now, there's been a lot of lobbying recently, since 2016 or 2017, when there were about 3,000 or so unaccompanied children in Calais and in France, from Syria and from Afghanistan and other places. 3,000, many of them Muslims, yes? And there was a lot of campaigning going on here by some organization trying to push on the government to allow these 3,000 or so children to come. Now, on one side, we have our own problem of children born here who are being foster cared, and they are adopted by some non-Muslims. And now we have another problem, compounded problem of these children, if they are allowed to come to the UK, that they will not be looked after the Muslims. Yes? It is a big problem. Now look, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has mentioned these verses in the Quran to try to make us understand. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he adopted, yes, Zayd ibn Haritha, he adopted him, didn't he? He adopted him. So the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam is a great example. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was himself yatim, was looked after Abdul Muttalib, his grandfather, and Abu Talib, his uncle. They looked after Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We are not geared towards it because our society is not into this, and the problems are there. And problems can happen because many reasons. True or false? Yes? Yes? I'll give you one example. Parents, both husband and wife, they started taking drugs. May Allah protect. Their state has become completely bad. Now they become so, they cannot look after the child is being neglected, he is not being fed, and so on and so forth. The child is wearing his clothes for more than 1 month, sometimes he ends up urinating. Nobody is looking after that child. So what will happen? The authority will take the child away, isn't it? The authority will take the child away. Now that child can either end up where? In a non-Muslim house, true? Or he will end up in an institution, child care home. Now the child care home is worse than that child being with a non-Muslim. Then why? You've heard about J.K. Rowling. Have you heard of J.K. Rowling? The one who's written Harry Potter, yes? She founded an organization called Lumos Foundation. And in 2014, they published a report regarding the the effects or the impact of children being institutionalized, meaning that put in institution. They say that children who are put in institution, yes, they are 10 times more likely to end up into prostitution. 40 times more likely, 40 times, not 10, how many? 40 times, not twice, double, 3 times or 40 times more likely, and they will end up having a criminal record. They don't do tarbiyah there, they just look after the child, they will not, and whose responsibility is ours, on our shoulder. We should do something about it, isn't it? We should learn more about it, yeah? And the problem happens is that you go on to Google and you put adoption in Islam. What you put? Adoption, and you find all different fatwa sites, yes? Now, the problem is the word adoption, some fatwa sites, they have been translated. What's happened to some of the fatwa sites? They have been translated. They were in Arabic, they were translated into English. Now, what's happening is that those who translate, they translate the word tabanni. What they translate? Tabanni equals adoption. What they say? Tabanni equals what? Adoption. Now, when they end up translating, you've heard of lost in translation. Things are lost in translation. And these are reliable fatwa sites I'm talking about. What they've done is that they have translated the adoption, the word, they've used the English word adoption to mean tabanni. Now, what is tabanni? Now, listen to this word tabanni. Aisha radiallahu ta'ala anha, she says, it's in Bukhari if I'm not mistaken, she says, كان الرجل في الجاهلية كان يتبنى رجلا في الجاهلية, yes, ودعاه الناس إليه, that in Jahiliyyah a person would make, and she also gave the example of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam doing Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam tabanna Zayd ibn Haritha. So she said that in Jahiliyyah people would take other children to be their children, which is adoption, yes, in one way, but it is tabanni in Arabic. And then people would end up calling that child to be the son of the adopter. Like Zayd ibn Haritha, they would end up calling Zayd ibn Muhammad. True or false? Allah said, you're not allowed to do that. You're allowed to look after these children. Yes, you're allowed to adopt these children, but you're not allowed to do this type of tabanni that used to happen in Jahiliyyah. This tabanni, adopting that used to happen in Jahiliyyah, you don't do that, where the child, rather than being called Zayd ibn Haritha, the Sahabi, he ends up being called by people Zayd ibn Muhammad. Allah says, "Uduhum li'abaihim." If you want to call them with the names of their fathers. True or false? So when you go into these sites, what happens is that the Sheikh has been asked in Arabic, Sheikh, what do you say about tabanni? He says, أن التبني يا أخي أعلم أخي العزيز أعلم يا أخي العزيز أن التبني قد أبطله الإسلام. Tabanni, Islam has invalidated. What they mean is the tabanni in Jahiliyyah, that has been. Now the translator, when he translates, rather he should use the word tabanni and then explain the adoption that happened in Jahiliyyah. Instead, he just goes straight away. He says, brother, dear brother, yes, dear brother, know that Islam has invalidated tabanni. Adoption. Then someone else is asked about tabanni. He says, Sheikh says, at-tabanni la yajuzu fil Islam. Tabanni is not allowed in Islam. So the translator translates, adoption is not allowed in Islam. Now, I wanted to inquire about adoption. The first thing you do, sometimes you don't even ask the Imam, you go straight to Google, yes? And you'll go to these fatwa sites, and they are reliable sites, authentic sites. Yeah, reliable sites. And you read that, what happens? You say, forget about adoption. True or false, yes? What has happened is the word tabanni has been translated as adoption. Islam did not invalidate adoption. It did not. The Prophet ﷺ, when the hukum changed, still the Prophet ﷺ was looking after Zayd ibn Haritha. What Islam really changed was that type of adoption where you change the name. Yes? Where you say, now it's mine, you take my name. True or false? Yes? Now, like for example, my name is Zubair ibn Latif. Yes? Zubair ibn Latif. Yes? Now, I took Muhammad bin Abdullah. I took a boy called what? Muhammad, son of Abdullah, and I have adopted him. Now I say that you have to be called Muhammad bin Zubair. Is this allowed? No. That's what Islam has prohibited. But adoption per se has not been, in fact, it's been recommended by the Sharia. Yes? What we call kafalatul yatim. True or false? Yes? Looking after the yatim. And so that is the first challenge that we have. Somebody reads and says, oh, but alhamdulillah, the good thing is that there are other fatwa sites, yes, other fatwa sites where the scholars have been trained here in the UK. They understand what adoption is. They say, no, adoption is really allowed. Yes? Now, there, the translation has been done. This is the reason where the fault has happened. Yes? So somebody might read that and say, well, there's no adoption. There is adoption in Islam. Remember that. There is adoption. What there is not is that type of adoption that used to happen in Jahiliyyah where you change the name, the lineal link, yes? The lineage. You change the lineage. You can't change the lineage. You have to keep the lineage. Now, in adoption, but somebody can put this question mark that in legal adoption in the UK, legal adoption, if you read the legal adoption documents, meaning the law says here that you take a child, if you take someone else's child in adoption, then you treat him as your own child. You treat him what? As your own child. Psychologically, you can treat him as your own child. That's no problem. But the problem happens is that from now on, this child will be now your child, but will not have anything to do with the previous parents, right? That could be problematic. Then, where the problem happens is that the law here says that, the surname has to be changed. What? The surname of the child? Yes? Surname here is Zubair Karim, right? It's not, we don't say Zubair Karim, right? So, my surname is my grandfather's name, yes? So, the child who will come, right? Muhammad, he will not be called Muhammad ibn Zubair, right? Right? Because he's Muhammad ibn Abdullah, isn't it? Yes? He will be called Muhammad Karim, right? True? Now I've taken this, surname has to change. So regarding this, the scholars have divided into how many? 3 groups. The first group says that you're not allowed to take the surname. You're allowed to do adoption. Adoption is allowed. But surname you should not take. Do you understand? Why? Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in the Quran, and also a woman, if you marry, some scholars they go to an extent that if you marry a woman, she should not take your own surname. Yes? So those scholars will, by default, they will say that you cannot take that surname. Yes? But some other scholars, they will say, no, surname is only for the identification reason. So it's allowed. Other scholars, they say, no, for a woman who you've married, she can take your surname. Yes? Like if someone I've married Aisha, for example, she can say she was first Aisha Abdullah. Now she's become Aisha Karim. Yes? So some scholars, they say it's fine because it's for the identification reason. Other scholars, they say no, it's not fine. She should keep her parents' surname. Now, these scholars, will they allow this adopted child to take the surname, my surname? Nope. They won't. As for other scholars who accept the woman to take the surname, they're divided into 2 parts. One, they say the boy can take the surname. The others, they say no. The woman can take surname. The wife can take the surname, but not the boy. Why? Because it can create a doubt in terms of lineage. So how do you solve this problem? Can anyone give some solution for that? We have accepted adoption, but now the law is saying you should change the surname. Now the reason, I will give you a reason why the law says that the surname has to be changed. Can I give a reason for it? The reason is for the safety of the child, for the security of the child. Security. For what is security? This is the reason why law gives that. Now, how can we overcome this problem? Can anyone come up with an idea How can we overcome it? Now I want to take Muhammad. I've heard about Muhammad. I'm worried that this Muhammad boy, yes, Muhammad bin Abdullah, this Muhammad will end up, yes, in a non-Muslim family. I'm taking him. But now I've got a dilemma that surname. I want to get this problem sorted out. How can I sort out that problem? Anyone?
Give him complex name.
Giving him?
Complex.
Yes. That's one way. Hyphenated. It's known as hyphenated name. Yeah? Hyphenated name. So what will happen is that he will be called, I've seen some people, they've got dash. Yes? Yes? So he might be called Muhammad Karim dash Abdullah. Yes? So in that, in reality, those who know this, they know that in reality, those who know this hyphenated name, in reality, it's not your child. You are just looking after him. That's one way. The other way is go to deed poll. Deed poll, try to change the surname. That's another way of doing it, yes? That's one problem that we can solve it, yes? Another problem that we have, many of the foster carers, yes? Yeah.
This boy is not,
He can do that. But what it is, you don't want the public as well to know. In Wasiya, maybe some people will know, but publicly everybody knows him to be your son. That's not a good thing, yes? Because that is erasure of the lineal link that the child has with the father, lineage, to birth, from the birth father to the adoptive father, which is not allowed. So you can do wasiya as well, that's another way. But you can have an hyphenated name, the one you said, complex name. That's a way of coming out of that mess. Now we've got another mess, another problem. You don't know what's happening. People are taking children for foster care, yes, at the age of 5. Now the child reaches the age of 12. You know what they do? MashaAllah, they've done a good thing, we should thank. Muslim families, they take what? Children at the age of 5, say for example, or even when they're baby. But when they reach the age of 12, they do something. You know what they do? Can anyone say? Huh? They tell the child to leave the house. Why? At the age of 12, they say now you can...
Because he's mature.
Huh?
Mature now.
He is mature now, and what it is? Hijab issue. Hijab issue is the problem. Now, because of that hijab issue, that child comes out, that is the most delicate period of time, isn't it? He ends up in someone else's house, he loses his iman. I will tell you, last year, December.
It's very clear, not haram to keep them with you.
Yeah, fi hujurikum.
Boy or girl.
Yeah, those who have been brought up with you, there's no problem in that. But what happens? People, they do that because of hijab issue, and they throw the child at the age of 12. I will tell you what happened. It happened now. It happened here in Dundee. Someone said, Sheikh, I want, just last year, Sheikh Mufti Shabir came here. Mufti Shabir, is the food arrived? No? 15 minutes. In 15, no problem. So what happened, Mufti Shabir came here, and we were at Maulana Abdul Rauf's house. He invited me. I was sitting here, and Mufti Shabir was sitting there. Dr. Mansoor asked, Dr. Mansoor, he lives here in Dundee. He asked, he said, Sheikh, I am thinking about, adopting a child or foster caring a child. Yes? But what happens at the age of 12, in terms of hijab? That is a question that many people have. And he turned around. He said that, look, how on earth that in other circumstances you don't look after hijab? Yes? You have a party, yes? Eat the party, everyone comes, you're not much worried about hijab. Yes? Wedding parties, hijab somehow goes, down the drain. Yes? Yes? There is intermixing and yes? But when it comes to a child that you're protecting him, all of a sudden now you remember about hijab. Huh? Now you what? Remember about hijab. Where you're protecting his iman and Islam. He said, look, I will tell you one thing. The rules are not that strict about that child. Yes. What happens is that usually when the child was small, ladies, boy, you took a boy, isn't it? Yes, and you're looking after him now. The mother can take, your wife can take her scarf and everything out. Now, but when he reaches 12 years of age, yes, but imagine the psychological, all of a sudden you change. Like, for example, you came to know that yesterday he's become baligh. He's become what? Mature, yes? All of a sudden the other day, the child, and then wife trying to, stay away from that child. How will that boy react? Psychologically, will he not be affected? No, he said that the issue of hijab is, I've got the fatwa. He's got the fatwa written. He said it's not that strict. For him, it's not that strict. You have to downgrade. In other things, you are fine. Yes? In other things, you go to a party, take hijab off, whatever, yes? But when it comes to this, yes, you become... Now, there is what we call Western mark effect. Have you heard of this before? Western mark effect. There was a scientist called something Western mark. He found that, children who are remaining together for a long period of time, they end up displaying a negative sexual inclination to those. For example, if you took a child, yes? If you took a child in your family, and that child has come into your family, isn't it? Now it's a boy and you have girls. It's what? A boy. So you've got a girl who is the age of 7, and you took a child who was the age of 6. It's only 1 year difference. They've grown up together, yes? Yes? Now by the age they're about 12, 13 or whatever, there is not that inclination towards each other because of remaining together all the time. Yes? As Allah says in the Quran, وَالتَّابِينَ غَيْرِ وَذِي الْإِرْبَةِ مِنَ الرِّجَالِ. And those followers who do not have that sexual inclination amongst the men, you can downgrade the hijab for them. In Jahiliyyah, what would happen? A man would be coming to your house all the time. Yes? He doesn't find food, and he's befriended and become your best pal. Yes? He's all the time in the house. Yes? Yes? And he keeps on calling your wife, he's the age of your wife. Yes? But he calls her auntie. Yes? And all the time he's there. Now, your wife in the beginning, she'll say, she will be strict, isn't it? But what's happening is that he's all the time coming. Yes? Yes? And he's also being careful as well. Yes? Respect. Yes? He doesn't have inclination because he's coming all the time in the house. He doesn't have inclination. In Jahiliyyah it would happen. Some people, they're weak. They can't, feign themselves. Would say, okay, this guy is, got money, I'll be his friend. They would stay for him for a long period of time. Yes? Or could be another reason why he would be following. Yes? Or sometimes obviously he has problems. Yes? He has disabilities. For this reason, he would just keep on befriending you and you would look after him and this and that. Now, obviously, he doesn't have inclination towards your wife. True or false? Yes? So, regarding such people, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has downgraded. Why? Because there is what? A long-term exposure. True or false? Yes? The food will be arriving soon. As soon as the food arrives, I will stop, inshallah. The food has not arrived, so you will be waiting and not getting any benefit. Yes? So what would happen is that they would not have that feeling. Yes? So Allah downgraded the hijab for them. He said, it's fine. You can keep a downgraded level of hijab to an extent because there is no reason. So this child who is being all the time with you, is he not included in tabi'in غَيْرِ إِرْبَةٍ مِنَ الرِّجَالِ? He is included. Is it true or false? Yes? He is included. Now, another problem that happens regarding this child is, yes, but if you're too worried about this mahramiyah, try to get that child when he's a baby. Yes? Huh? And what you can do, give milk, feed the child milk. Yes? Now when you feel you become what? You become suckling mother. Your wife becomes what? The suckling mother. Now when he grows up, he will call him mommy, mommy. Yeah, call her mommy, mommy. So it's fine, for her because now he's become what? He's become a suckling child. So that's one way of doing it, yes?
But if
Yeah.
you know here, Maulana, that
Where?
you can adopt a boy or a girl,
Yeah.
only when he get 5
No. Even as babies you can.
as baby.
Yeah, if you take as a baby, that's fine, inshallah. Yes? It is only Ibn Hazm who says that, even if he grows up, he still can have milk and he's fine. This is a Radhatul Kabir, but I don't want to go into that. No. Jumhur say that, in babyhood, at the age of 2, before the age of 2, if he drinks the milk, your milk, it's fine. Yes?
There's
Is
a
that-
book by one Muslim country
Yeah.
that if you get a new driver,
Yeah.
let your wife press him twice, so he becomes her son.
Yeah, this is Radhatul Kabir, but Jumhur do not accept this.
Not accept.
Yes. In some countries where the driver is old age, right? Yes? They say, okay, just press the milk and give in the cup, the milk. And now he's become your, suckling child. How on earth? He's grown up. So the Jumhur do not accept this. Ibn Hazm accepts, yeah? And Ibn Taymiyyah, rahimahullah, he accepts if there is dhurura. If there is what? Dhurura. Otherwise, it doesn't accept. But it's Ibn Hazm who was allowed, but others, Jumhur, we are talking about everyone. Yes, all the madhahib, they do not accept that. So, another problem it happens is that now it is the time for that child to get married. What happens? It's a girl. Yes? You have looked after. What happened was the parents, they just abandoned the child. Yes? Muslim parents, they said, we don't want. Happens this. Abandoned child. Yes? So, you are looking after this child who is being abandoned. Yes? Sisters upstairs, if they have any questions, they can write it down and send to me as we go along. I will try to answer. So that child has been abandoned. So you're looking after that child, isn't it? Now he's grown up, right? But then you came to know who the parents are, where they are living, and so on and so forth. Now that girl, she's grown up. Now when it comes to the marriage, when it comes what? The time of marriage.
Questions from the ladies?
No problem. When the time comes for marriage, in Sharia what it is, you have to get the permission. If it's a girl, you have to get the permission from the wali, isn't it? Yes? It is only the Hanafis. Shafi'i, Maliki, Hanbali, they say that you have to take the permission from the wali. Only the Hanafis, they say that there's no need to take permission from the wali. The girl can get married to herself. The marriage will be valid. So according to Hanafis, it wouldn't be that much problem. Yes. But if it's a mismatch, then the father has the right to veto. You understand? The Hanafis, they say that it's better to take permission before the marriage, but it's not a necessity. It's not a prerequisite. The marriage will be valid without the girl taking permission from her parents. Say it's a love marriage. Let's take a love marriage. You went to the parents said, no. Yes? So when he's not accepting it, the marriage will be done. And the father has only the right to veto if it's a mismatch. Say, for example, the woman happens to be, mashallah, someone who has studied where? In Harvard, yes? Or Oxford, and the boy is just some loafer who is taking drugs, yes? So this is what? It's a mismatch. So in that circumstances, the father has the right to veto and say that, this marriage should be annulled. Yes? This is for a girl who is virgin, meaning that she's not married before. Yes? If she's married before Thayyib, everyone says that she can do it herself.
Full authority.
Yes? Full authority. Now, the Jumhur, who say that the wali has to give the permission, their hadith is where the Prophet ﷺ said that أَيُّمَا إِمْرَأَةٍ نَكَحَتْ yes بدون إذن وليها فنكاحها باطل. Yes? If the wali has not, she's married without the wali, the nikah is batil. You can find in Ibn Majah. But the Hanafis, they take a hadith that is in Muslim and Imam Malik, where the hadith says al-ayyimu ahaqqu bi nafsiha min waliha. she's more rightful. Al-ayyimu means a woman that was not married before. A married woman, she has more rights of herself than her wali. So she has the power to do so. But now, say you're not following the Hanafi madhab, you're following the Hanbali madhab or whatever. Yes? Now you are stuck. Why? Because the parents are alive, but they have abandoned the child. Now you have to take the permission from wali. How do you go about? What do you do?
The father who adopted her is not her wali.
Yeah, he's not her wali. Yeah.
Hakim al-Muslimin is the wali.
Yeah. So there's two things. If the parents are found, you can take their permission. And obviously, if they are not looked after, they will say, okay, just go away. They will not veto. Okay? Yeah, true. But if they're not found, then who is the wali? Is the imam, hakim. Imam, he will be the wali of the woman, this girl. So that is a problem as well of guardianship. This is known as wilayah. Another problem that happens is that the child has lived with you, has grown up with you. Allah has given you so much wealth. Yes, you've worked hard, you've looked after the child, and now you've got, mashallah, so many properties and businesses and so on and so forth. And you've got about 4 children, and this 5th one is the one you've adopted. True? Do you understand? Now you're going to be dying soon. Yes? You're now old, yes, and you thought, let me get the will written, yes? Now, the Sharia allows, what does? Allows only the relatives to get their portion. Is that true or not? The Sharia allows only the relatives. He's not a real blood relative. Only the blood relatives get it, isn't it? He's not a blood relative. So, inheritance, he will not get it. He will not get the inheritance. He will not get the inheritance. Your blood relatives will get the inheritance. How will he feel? You've been always calling him my son, my son, my son, isn't it? Yes, psychologically, he's not really your son, yes? But because of love you say it, yes? And you've always treated, sometimes you end up treating the child that you've adopted better than your own son. True or false? Yeah? Like you? Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, Abu Talib looked after Rasulullah and loved him more than his own children. Not only because of his father passed away and mother passed away, but also because of the akhlaq of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. So you love that child, isn't it? Handsome, akhlaq, beautiful akhlaq, and then the father is not there, mother is not there. This is the highest form of yatim, yes? So you love more than your children. So you've loved him more than your child, now you're giving inheritance to everyone, but you are denying him. How will you feel? Bad, isn't it, yeah? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, وَإِذَا هَضَرَ الْقِسْمَةَ أُولُو الْقُرْبَ وَالْيَتَامَ وَالْمَسَاكِينَ Yes? فَارْزُقُوهُمْ مِنْهُ وَقُولُوا لَهُ قَوْلًا مَعْرُوفًا. When the time of distribution of wealth comes after the death, yes, comes, and in that, when that comes, yes, and who's present there? The yatim are present there. Ulul qurba, blood relatives are there. Poor people are there as well, yes? Give them some food. Give them some food. Be good to them. Give them something out of that wealth, yes? And say good things about it. Now, some scholars, they say, because of the verses regarding inheritance, this verse has been abrogated, become nasib. But Ibn Abbas radiallahu ta'ala says the verse is not abrogated. He says the verse has been transferred to mean wasiyah. To yatim, when yatim comes, do wasiyah for him. But please give him some. Yes? So the way to go, okay, my boys, you will be receiving your portion like this, but I have allocated the same type of portion. Obviously, it should be less than 1/3 of your wealth for this child, because he's lived with us. And I'm pretty sure nobody will, because you are the one doing it, nobody will complain. True? Yes? Object. So these are challenges that we have in terms of adoption and fostering, and these are very big challenges which sometimes do put people off. Yes, they say, oh, how when the child grows up, then he's not the mahram issue. Yes, the hijab issue. He's not my mahram. He's not So how can I come out of this problem and this and that? So I don't want to. So from the beginning he says, I don't want to. Another thing that puts off, for you to become a registered carer, it's not just overnight. You have to go through trainings. Obviously, they will not train you whilst you're working. It might be weekend training, but it takes about 6 months or so. That is, you say 6 months, bureaucracy, I don't want. So that is another reason that, to become a registered carer. Another thing that puts off people is that sometimes they do ask you that if it's a non-Muslim child, will you take him for foster caring? Foster caring. You say, no, I can't because he's not Muslim. They will say, oh, finished. They say that I think, it's better for you, this is not your friend. Can you take a non-Muslim child, even for adoption or fostering? Are you allowed to take or not in Islam?
Yes.
Huh?
Hello.
You're allowed to take. Yeah? You're allowed to take. And what you've taken him for adoption or fostering, that child after a while becomes a Muslim. It's possible. And it can be Allah says in the Quran, La ikrah fi din. There's no compulsion in Islam. And also law, if you're taking a non-Muslim child, you cannot force Islam on him. Ibn Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu, he had a slave person who used to work for him, and he was very clever man. Yes? And Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu. Umar radiallahu ta'ala would always present Islam to him. Not force. What did he do? Present Islam to him. And he would say, no, I don't want to become Muslim. Sometimes we as well, when you're working, there are people who work with us, isn't it? We tell them about Islam. They say, no, I don't want it. Yeah? After 5 years, what happens? Okay, I want to become Muslim. Happens, isn't it? Sometimes you don't even need to tell. We have had instances. We have, throughout 25 years of our job that we used to do before, right? The business we used to do, we might have employed about 400 children. Yes? Some children, they would come themselves and say that we want to become Muslim. They would just come without us giving them dawah. One of them is Brother Yahya, if you know him, John. He became Muslim like that. So people would come sometimes and say that we want to become Muslim. So Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu would present Islam to him, and then he would refuse. Umar radiallahu would feel bad in the heart, yes? And he said the only thing that would give me that consolation in my heart, consolation would be the verse that Allah says, La ikrah fi din. There is no compulsion in Islam. Later on, Asbab embraced Islam. So there is no problem in taking a non-Muslim child for adoption or fostering. There's no problem in that. Okay, it is allowed. In fact, you get the reward of it. Yes? In fact, you get the same reward as kafalatul yatim. So these are things. There are many other things I wanted to talk. I think the food might have arrived, right? Can anybody check, inshallah? There's only one point that I want to finish with. Find out, is the food arrived? Just fine. Are you sure? Okay. No, it's arriving, inshallah. Because I got a phone call from the brother who cooks. The brother who cooks has given me a phone call just now, so I think the food is arriving. I saw on the phone. Yeah, so what happened? Yeah. So what happened is, now, yatim. Who is yatim? Obviously, we have kafalatul yatim, looking after, fostering, looking after a yatim. Yatim, who is yatim in Sharia? Does anybody know who is yatim in Sharia?
Whose father passed away.
Huh?
Somebody who lost a father at a childhood.
The father passed away. Ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah says, هو الصغير الذي فقد أباه. Is that child? Small child, little child. He says little child who has lost his father. But in Anglosphere, where English is spoken, orphan is not the one whose father has passed away. Orphan is the one whose mother has passed away. In Arabic, he is known called the one whose mother. Let's take an example, yes, of a child, yes, whose mother has passed away. He's munqati. Will he be getting the same rights as yatim? Welfare rights that Sharia gives, like kafala and everything. A munqati, whose father has not passed away, mother has passed away. No. But say, for example, the father is working his hard, time, and there is no one, he is not even being able to look after him. Yeah, then it's fine, yeah. But say, for example, he doesn't have those means. Will he be classed as yatim? Yeah. So what we have is, there is what is known as yatim haqiqi. What is it known as? A really yatim, and the other one is yatim hukmi. What is yatim? He is not real yatim, but jurisprudentially, in terms of fiqh, he is also classed as yatim. I'll give you an example.
What about suppose someone has lost a father, but he has a mother who's working, who's provide the food and other
Yeah, he's known as yatim. Yes, it's being provided, but he's still yatim. So, he will be only provided the things that he's not getting. Like, for example, if the mother is not able to give him education, then it is our duty to look after him. Now, I'll give you an example. Someone, it happens in the UK as well. Someone whose father and mother, they've been imprisoned. It was a love marriage. What was it? What? Love marriage. Now it happened that it was love marriage, they married because of love, right? Now what happens because of love marriage? I'm not saying it's not allowed, right? Scholars, they say it's fine, right? But it's better to take the blessings from your father and mother. Father and mother said, oh, you didn't come to us even to tell that you're married. He felt shy, he didn't tell, yes? And it was love marriage. So the grandparents are alive, but they said, we don't want to know you. Why did you do this behind our back? And then all of a sudden they ended up doing something, a crime, both the husband and wife, yes, through love marriage. They had a child who was 5 years of age, they ended up in prison. Will this child be like yatim or not? Will he be like a yatim or not? This happens. These things do happen. We are living in Dundee, small city. We don't know much. You go to London, you go to Birmingham, and you will see these things do happen quite a lot. And if you're living here and you go there and you start listening to this, you will say, no, I'm doing hijrah back to Dundee. A lot of things do happen, yes? So what's happened here is that they are in prison. He is like yatim, okay? He is what? Like yatim. Now, a foundling. You know what's a foundling? Foundling. In Arabic, we call him laqit. He is known as what? Laqit. Yes, the plural is luqata, foundlings. Or at-tiflul manbooh, abandoned child. Yeah? Husband and wife got married outside the wedlock. Yes? Outside what? This happens. Happens quite a lot. Outside the wedlock, they married and this and that. Now, they've lived, for 5 years, fine, yes? And this guy is just all-rounder, and the wife said, that's it, me finished with you. She says, now I want to go back to Glasgow. She was living in London. 5-year-old kid. Father is gone somewhere, he doesn't want to look after them, yes? He's roaming around everywhere, yes? Doesn't come to the house. Mother said, I'm leaving you. And she abandoned the child on the streets and came back to Glasgow, yes? Parents didn't know that she had married 5 years. She stayed with him, yes? So that child is what? Abandoned. He is now taken by the authorities, laqit. So is he like yatim or not? He's not yatim in reality, he's yatim hukman. You go in islamweb.com and other places, the scholars, they will say, فَهُوَ they say, إِن لَمْ يَكُنْ يَتِيمًا فِي الْحَقِيقَةِ إِن لَمْ يَكُنْ Though he is not what? A yatim in reality. إِلَّا أَنَّهُ يَتِيمٌ حُكْمًا. Yes? So he's yatim in terms of fiqh. Yes? I'll give you another example. Father and mother, they're looking after the child, and all of a sudden, the grandparents and families are in Morocco or Pakistan, India, Saudi Arabia, wherever, right? Grandparents are there, family is there. The husband and wife, they happen to be driving somewhere, an accident happened, both of them are disabled. They are what? Disabled. May Allah protect. May Allah never, things like this could happen to people, but may Allah protect all of them. This happens, yes? Now, this 5-year-old child, will he be like a yatim or not? The parents cannot look after him. They're not getting much. Yes? He's not getting that care that he needs. They can't, because they're all wheelchair bound, and they come here to the mosque. Say, Sheikh, is there anybody in the mosque who can look after my child? I'll say, no, your son is not yatim. Should I say like this? They're crying, both of them. They've come to the mosque in wheelchair and they can't look after. He is in the hukum of yatim. Yes? So we have to look after them. May Allah guide us all. And also the brother Fahad, he's had a boy. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make him obedient, make your children obedient to you. May Allah always keep you, grant you long lives, and always happy in your marriage as well, and you don't cause problems, because sometimes even divorce creates these problems, and the child becomes just like yatim. May Allah protect. So may Allah keep you always happy in your marriages. May Allah make you flourish all the time. But these are problems in front of us, isn't it? Yes? I've just opened only a small can, yes, in front of you. If I open more cans of one, you will become completely... So we have to do something about it. Don't you think so? Anybody who thinks that we shouldn't do anything, leave them and let them lose iman, nobody says that. We all agree, don't we? May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us the ability. I had two things, two options. One was to use presentation, and the other one was to use, just give you a snapshot through my speech. And then I thought, okay, with presentation, I have to go to the college and bring the PowerPoint, do all these things. It would be good, it would be more flowery or whatever, but it wouldn't give you the time to think about, because I put some brainstorm, some challenges in front of you. May Allah open our eyes. Can you do a talk with a lady speaker, as we would like to ask questions that are addressed, okay, and we would like to... Inshallah, in the future, when we have any programs, we will try to do in a environment or in a hall, which is big, and we can have in such a way that sisters can ask questions. My brother, I have adopted 2 children, 15-year-old, and I would like my Muslim brothers and sisters to know how you are treated by the social work department when you adopt and foster in this country. It is hard, but we can do it and teach them our ways to educate them. Yes, it's true. We have to understand that obviously when that child is looked after and adopted, social work department will keep you chasing and will make sure that the children are, yes, cared for properly and this and that, until they feel that they might have frequent visits in the beginning, because obviously the state takes that responsibility, and welfare of the child is important. So it's a welfare state that we live in, so at least the state behaves like a granny. Behaves like what? Granny. So they have this social, in fact, Muslim environments and countries, they should behave like this, and they do as well. Yes, may Allah reward them all. So what it is, social work department, yes, they will make sure that it is a bit hard, there are challenges, and you being an adopter or foster carer, you are a professional. Yes? You are what? Yes, you are classed as a professional. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide us all. The food is here. I don't want the food to go cold. Yes, just arrived now. So we'll close and make dua inshallah. Is that okay? اللهم صل وسلم وبارك ورحمة وتحنن على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. اللهم إنا نعوذ بك من زوال نعمتك وتحول عافيتك وفجاءة نقمتك وجميع سخطك ومن جهد البلاء ودرك الشكاء وسوء القضاء وشماتة الأعداء. اللهم آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. اللهم فرج للمسلمين كربهم. اللهم اغفر لنا ما قدمنا وما أخرنا وما أسررنا وما أعلنا وما أنت أعلم به منا. أنت المقدم وأنت المؤخر لا إله إلا أنت. اللهم تقبل منا هذا المجلس يا رب العالمين. سبحان ربك رب العزة ما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين. If anyone has any questions, feel free to ask now or later on at any time. Inshallah. We can have other programs concerning the same, but there are many other issues we can discuss inshallah.